First of all, I want to talk about a concept which shows the danger of miracles. There are several verses in Quran as follow. Even if we opened for them a gateway into the sky, and they began to ascend through it, they would still say, our eyes are hallucinating, in fact, we are people bewitched. If we will, we can send down upon them a sign from heaven, at which their necks will stay bent in humility. In order to clarify these verses, I give you an example. And recall when Moses said to his people, God commands you to sacrifice a heifer. They said, do you make a mockery of us? He said, God forbid that I should be so ignorant. They said, ask your Lord to show us which one. He said, he says she is a heifer, neither too old, nor too young, but in between. So do what you are commanded. They said, call upon your Lord to show us what her color is. He said, he says she is a yellow heifer, bright in color, pleasing to the beholders. They said, call upon your Lord to show us which one, the heifer look alike to us, and God willing, we will be guided. He said, he says she is a heifer, neither yoked to plow the earth, nor to irrigate the field, sounds without blemish. They said, now you have brought the truth. So they slew her, though they did not tend to do. And recall when you killed a person, and disputed in the matter, but God was to expose what you were hiding. We said, strike him with part of the heifer. Thus God brings the dead to life, and he shows you his signs, that you may understand. Then after that your hearts hardened. They were as rocks, or even harder. For there are some rocks from which rivers gush out, and others that splinter and water comes out from them, and others that sink in awe of God. God is not unaware of what you do. So when a miracle happens, mankind not only won't believe it, but also will reject it and become worse from what was before. Miracle is comparable with the mutation, that cause abnormality, actually it is a disease. Disease should be cured. I think that Israelites, because of miracles which were observed by their ancestors, are yet mutated and should be cured. Of course I should emphasize that this is not because of anti-Semitic behavior, actually Jews are sacrificed so that other people understand what the effect of a miracle is, but before continuing about that topic, I will go on to express what exactly has happened on them. So let's take a look at Jews' history timeline. Egypt to Canaan. 1660–1445 BC. From Joseph being sold into slavery, his rise to power in Egypt, and to Moses and the Exodus. The Judges. 1445–1050 BC. From Moses and the Ten Commandments to Joshua's entrance and Jewish expansion into the Promised Land. United Kingdom. 1050–930 BC. From King Saul to the prophet Samuel and young King David and his royal dynasty through Solomon. Divided Kingdom. 930–586 BC. From the internal strife that divided the nation of Israel to the prophets who warned of the coming exile. The exile. 585–457 BC. From Israel's fall to exile in Babylon and the major prophets declaring the coming Messiah. Jacob and his children were Canaanites and were living there. Joseph was sold to Egypt, and after several years he rose to power in Egypt. His brothers went to Egypt to get food from them. Joseph found out they are his brothers and asked them to take their father, Jacob or Israel, to Egypt, and they did. So this happened 1445 BC. After several years Israelites were tortured in Egypt and Moses came to rescue them. Pharaoh was drowned in the sea and Israelites went on to reach the Canaan. Then Joshua at 1358 BC attacked Canaan and Jews entered into Canaan. So there are several issues here. Israel used to be a Canaanite, but his generation attacked his own homeland and tried to change its name to Israel. Whereas they could enter the city without any war and they could live there without any problem, because their grandfather Israel used to be Canaan's citizen, Of course this belonged to several thousands years ago, but what relates to today is that because of several miracles that they observed in the past, they got proud of themselves and they attacked their own homeland, so this mutation hasn't been cured up to now, so it should be cured. I think that Quran has showed the cure of this pain and its stories should be realized by Jews. So I explain more about Quran's point of view about Jews. But first of all I want to say that Quran is not against Jews at all. Some of its verses is a bit sharp with Jews, I agree, but it mainly says that God awarded many gifts to Jews, but they were rejected, in different ways. The main reason of sharp intonation of Quran to the Jews is because of this, I think. Jews are chosen people, because you have bared so many adventure that can now help us to understand more about the fact. So once again I clearly express my point, Israelites and Canaanites used to be compatriots, at the time that Israel himself used to live, and they should live with each other as compatriots. Israelites made a fault that they didn't enter into Canaan after when they went out of Egypt and Pharaoh was drowned. As they rejected Moses' order to enter to the land of Canaan, they had to live in the desert, and after that they made another fault that they attacked their own land, Canaan. If you want to understand my exact point, answer this question: where did Israel himself used to be live in before migration to Egypt?